so true. We're a full-service oil and lube shop with years of experience, and that experience tells us to always go the extra mile for our customers, like topping off fluids for free on most vehicles and free tire pressure checks.
See Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash, or at East William J. Bryan next to the main post office.
When you hear the Aggies on The Zone, think about the businesses backing the Ags all season long. Atkinson Toyota in Bryan and Madisonville, Prosperity Bank, Cherry Ruffino and Caldwell Banker Agtown Realtors, Park of Traditions Exceptional Senior Living, Schulte Roofing, and the RV Station. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Now that's some good bull. You're listening to the flagship of Aggie Athletics, Sports Radio 1150 and The Zone 102.7 FM.
Start each day with everything and anything you need to know about the Zone. Sign up for our daily email newsletter at zone1150.com. Get the day's lineup for Texags Radio, the Louis Beliucci Show, and Chip Howard. Read up on the top A&M athletic stories. Register, enter, and be reminded about all the Zone events, contests, or promotions. Get the Zone All Access Update. All Access Update. All Access Update. Emailed to you Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Sign up now. Sign up now at zone1150.com. Sign up now.
Embers floating on a southbound breeze, somewhere between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you. Guitar playing through the night, it felt pretty good, I'm feeling alright. Good as one for the price of two. It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told.
Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour Lunch on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, 102.7 FM. I am your host, Ryan Brauninger. We are powered, as always, by HomeSpark. HomeSpark offers assistance in transportation, meal preparation, household duties, fall prevention, memory care, and personal care. For more information, call 979-260-0320 or go to homesparkcare.com. We are here at the Tap on Harvey Road. Tap's great lunch menu, as always, out and about and being enjoyed by the folks here live with us. $8.49 burger basket, $8.49 chicken BLT that comes with fries and a drink. Monday nights, karaoke. Wednesday nights, piano bar. And be sure to check the Tap's website for the latest in live acts that will be gracing the same stage that I am sitting on. For the majority of the day, we will be revisiting and unpacking Texas A&M's 26-23 victory over the South Carolina Gamecocks last Saturday in Columbia. It was another page seemingly in the same book that is this 2018 Texas A&M football season, or at least the last month of it. Just completely dominating the stat sheet for the most part, and not being able to put teams away, put the game to bed. And you let them hang around, and they were kicking an onside kick there with under a minute to go with a chance to recover it and either tie or win the game. So it's been 3 weeks in a row where A&M has gone down to the wire with decent, but I don't know you'd call any of them really good football teams. I think we don't know about Kentucky. I think we still don't know about South Carolina. It will kind of depend on kind of how they wind up or how they play in the back half of their schedule, where you determine that's a really quality win or just a good win. And I don't think that you can say any SEC road win is a bad win, especially when you look at what went on in the conference this weekend and kind of where everybody is. I think for the majority of the season, a majority of college football fans thought Alabama and Georgia were the class of the SEC, and they still may be, but that just tells you how hard it is when you watch what Georgia did or what Georgia didn't do on the road against LSU. It tells you how hard it is to win in this conference every week, week in, week out, because there's so many quality teams with quality players, and you go on the road to quality venues. It's not easy to win in this league. So I don't think anybody should blow off an SEC road win, whether it's by 3 points or by 30 points, as something that we can just gloss over and not say is a big deal or is not important to this season. A&M heads into the bye week at 5-2 with still a lot to play for, and I think there's still a lot out there in terms of what you want to see out of this A&M team. And so, Luce, just your quick thoughts on the bye week right now. We'll get into the game, but where A&M is, are they where you thought they'd be at about 5-2, and do they look how you thought they look going into the bye week whenever you analyze this season in August?
Record-wise, I'll put a very slight yes on that. I probably would have picked them to be 5-2 at that point. If I'd have known how good Kentucky was, I would have been real worried about 4-3. Not necessarily because of Kentucky, but I looked at South Carolina, Mississippi State, Auburn on the road, and that was one where you go, man, if you could just somehow get 2 of those 3, but even that's going to be tough, like South Carolina wasn't quite as good as I thought, but that was still a dangerous game. I mean, they're coming into the season, that is. Kentucky, though, was one that I thought, look, A&M's it won't be easy against Arkansas and Kentucky, but they should absolutely win those. But that Kentucky win's a lot bigger than I thought, and also I never would have thought, well, I say that. I always thought it was going to be a close game against Clemson for whatever reason. But after watching them take Clemson to the final play, watching them beat a way better than expected Kentucky team that might go on and win 10 games this year, I feel a hell of a lot better about this 5-2 than the one I thought they would get.
Well, here's the thing, Luch. If you look at it as A&M is one controversial call away from being 6-1, and where are they ranked if they're 6-1 with a win over Clemson?
Probably top 6.
That's and an outside shot at looking at a playoff spot. Like,
yeah. I'll be
that's
interested.
how close it is, but they're also just as close to being 4-3 or 3-4 or whatever you want to call it with the way these last 3 weeks have gone. And you said, and I still believe this, and I was talking to Nathan over here from the Tap about, Mississippi State and Auburn, is if you keep playing with fire, you're going to drop a game.
Yeah.
And you've said that for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it is worrisome. It's encouraging that you continue to do well on the stat sheet, but you've got to put more points up, and at some point, as a team, you grow and you learn to put away games.
Yeah, exactly. And but there's something to be said. They are winning games. Mm-hmm. They are putting away games. They're not capitalizing on earlier opportunities to do so. It's like in a fight, you get the guy on the ropes and staggered, go for the knockout. If that opportunity presents itself, have that killer instinct or that level of execution to go for the knockout. Now, what A&M's doing is they're getting late-round knockouts, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's going to count as a win. But like you said, you let a team like Arkansas hang around down 17-0. You let South Carolina come back and tie you down 16-0. And Kentucky, you let them tie you with the self-inflicted mistake late in the game. You are playing with fire, but at the same time, you look at how close they were to blowing each of those 3 teams out. And by blowing them out, I mean winning by multiple touchdowns, not by 40. But Arkansas, you had them on the brink, not once, but even twice, 24-10. Kentucky, you kick a field goal there early in the second half. You should be up 17-7. Don't fumble that ball. Met game might be 17-24-7 final score, which is more like the stats would have led you to believe. South Carolina, you don't get a PI on a 3rd and 21. That was actually one of the plays where Miles Jones did have pretty good coverage. It was a bad throw that kind of bailed the whole thing up. But still, 3rd and 21, you get a PI. Later in that same drive, it's a 4th and 8. And if not, you get the ball back. If you even kick a field goal there, and they'd been moving it, it's 19-0, that game's over. 3 scores, that thing's over and done with. And not to mention the red zone. So they got to work on some stuff, no doubt. But we were talking yesterday in the Press Row show with Ben Baby, and he asked Landis Durham, "Does this feel like a loss?" And that's where I completely disagree.
How on earth? I mean, why would you ask that question?
Well, it's what he was getting at is the same thing you're saying. You're playing with fire, but it would never feel like a loss in the SEC. On the road, I mean, here's the thing. Ask Georgia. Ask LSU.
That's what I was getting at.
Ask
where do you
Florida,
think
who went to Vandy. Ask Kentucky, who came here to A&M and got beat. Ask anybody in the league really, ask Mississippi State, who went to Kentucky. You can just go, it's just a never-ending cycle. Like, go on the road, and if you can get a win, those are the teams right now that are surging. You look at Florida. They went and won at Mississippi State. That was the one that transformed, and the next thing you know, they play at home. They beat LSU. But they won at Mississippi State. A&M's now won on the road. If this get like these next two games for A&M, I know everybody wants to win them all, but if you split those two and you've gone 2-1 in 3 road games in the SEC, you come out of that as one of the ascending teams in this league because hardly anybody does it.
After Alabama, give me your next 4 teams in the SEC. Go 5. Could you do that? Is it that cut and dry, or is it too jumbled?
I think it's way too jumbled. I think after Alabama, I think number 2 right now, you kind of have to go LSU, but then a week ago they lost to Florida, so where's Florida in that deal?
I think Florida's probably 3rd.
Yeah, but my point is, why are they not 2nd? They're a week removed from beating LSU. So, I'd probably go LSU. But LSU got a lot of run for beating Miami and Auburn, neither one of whom are any good. Miami not good at all.
Well, they should get the run they're going to get out of beating Georgia the way they did. Absolutely.
I agree, but do you see where if you're trying to compare them in Florida, Florida went and won at Mississippi State, which is better than beating Auburn, and they went and they beat LSU head-to-head a week ago. So it's hard. So LSU, Florida, it's probably Bama, LSU, Florida, take your pick. I am more impressed with I say I'm more impressed with LSU, but Florida beat them straight up.
Yep.
And Florida beat them. I wouldn't say it was convincing at all, but they clearly won that game. It wasn't like any fluke to it.
Dan Mullen can really coach. We thought that going into the year.
And then you go after that, Georgia, and then probably A&M. Mississippi State right there,
right
too.
there, and then Kentucky's right there.
Kentucky's right there. You might look up, and they might have all beat each other by the end of next week. Hopefully not. If A&M wins at Mississippi State, I think you can put them along with – you can put them right there with Florida. It would be, to me, A&M and Florida for 4.
I would love to see that final game against LSU is for the 2nd place in the West. I'd love for it to work out that way.
Well, if it's that –
still a lot of football to be played.
Let me tell you something. If it's that, it's also for a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're going to have probably Bama and Georgia or Kentucky if they beat Georgia. I don't think they will with Terry Wilson at quarterback, or Kentucky. But Bama, Georgia probably get, those two New Year's Six spots. And then if A&M were to finish 2nd and beat LSU – I guess they could get there at 9-3, but whichever it is, if they finish 2nd in the West and beat LSU, they're going to take LSU's spot. They'll be in a New Year's Six. Whoever wins that game, if they both go in with, if they're going in playing for 2nd in the West, the winner's going to get the New Year's Six.
There's still a lot of football to play, and A&M still, to me, and I think to you too, has still got a lot of stuff to prove. And I think these next 2 games at Mississippi State and at Auburn will go a long way. But
I like what you're doing because I came in here and I was like, I hope Brauninger doesn't pander to what he thinks is supposed to be said, which is uneven, choppy, disjointed. No, that was a good quality win. Did A&M play perfect? Absolutely not. We know that. But it's like the whole Kellen Mond thing. I think people need to start realizing a couple things. Number one, Jimbo Fisher's teams are going to play. They're going to be perfectly comfortable playing with the lead and winning games late, and that's what they do. And eventually they'll have some really explosive offenses that no one can stay on the field with, and that'll be a little different. Kind of like Alabama previous to this season, or even the last couple years under Kiffin, where they could really light you up. But early Alabama under Saban. And sometimes you're going to win a game 24-10 that you thought you were going to win 34-7. It's going to happen. The other thing is with Kellen Mond, I'm like, people need to stop holding him to some crazy standard and realize this guy's had 2 sensational games so far this year, and he really hasn't had a bad one. Arkansas could almost fall into that. But at the same time, Arkansas was a game where, he threw 2 picks. He also put up yards and ended up in the fourth quarter, led his team on what should have been 2 scoring drives to win it.
Hey, I want to get your big thoughts on Kellen and kind of where he's at 7 games in on the other side of the break, and then that will help us get into breaking down last Saturday's win. On the other side of the break, we'll be right back, continue the A&M South Carolina talk, as well as look ahead to Mississippi State. And we may even have some recruiting in this show. You're listening to Beliucci Hour Lunch. We're powered by Holmes Park.
You can listen to Chip Howard 4 to 6 weekdays on Sports Radio 1150, The Zone 102.7 FM, and online at RadioAggieland.com. Chip Howard.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
Folks are always looking for a place to meet friends, grab some food, relax, and unwind with a cold beer, mixed drink, or glass of Boots sweet tea. The Tap on Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people coming back for more. Our burgers, salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before, during, or after the game. See you at the Tap on Harvey Road in College Station.
That tailgate guy. He's the guy whose car is always way too close for comfort. Sure, you could teach him a lesson by slamming on your brakes, but you're a safe driver. At Allstate, they think you deserve a reward for not stooping to his level. If you've got a safe record, you can save big on car insurance. Safe drivers should pay less. That's Allstate's stand. Are you in good hands? Call Allstate agent Jerry Anderson at 979-764-0015. Discounted insurance offered only with select companies and subject to availability and qualifications. Discount amount may be lower and applies to most major coverages. Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
We are Symetria Recovery, the one outpatient treatment network that focuses on one thing:
crushing opioid addiction.
With one treatment team.
Counselors, doctors, nurses, psychiatrists.
One proven method, the Symetria method.
With a success rate 4 times the industry average.
Call 844-847-6999.
That's 844-847-6999.
Hey, opioid addiction, we've got your number.
At Holmes Park, we believe we stand on the shoulders of those that have come before us. We strive every day to honor our seniors by giving them the respect they deserve while helping them age with dignity and prolonging their independence. With Holmes Park, we provide companionship, transportation, meal preparation, light household duties, and more of what you think is important. We're thankful for the faith Aggieland has placed in Holmes Park, making us the most trusted and valued name in home care. For more personalized care we offer, go to homesparkcare.com. Holmes Park, we care for people.
Your favorite shows are available on demand daily at zone1150.com. Wait a minute. We need to turn this up a notch. Get the podcast of The Louie Beliucci Show, TexAgs Radio, The Beliucci Hour, or Studio 12 Live at zone1150.com. Each hour of each show available commercial-free each day. Subscribe to get your downloads daily at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or zone1150.com. Never miss your favorite host or your favorite guest. Check out the podcast of your favorite shows at zone1150.com.
Welcome back to the Beliucci Hour Lunch, brought to you by Holmes Park. I'm Ryan Brauninger, Beliucci on stage with you from here at the Tap on Harvey Road. Come check out the Tap's great lunch menu, $8.49 burger basket, $8.49 chicken BLT today that comes with fries and a drink. Don't forget today, Jimbo Fisher's press conference will start at 1 o'clock. So on the other side of this show, we will shoot it over to the Bright Complex where right here on Sports Radio 1150, the Zone 102.7 FM, Jimbo Fisher's weekly press conference. Wasn't able to do it yesterday, Liucci. He was on the road doing a little bye-week recruiting, and so they will discuss, I'm guessing, South Carolina and look ahead to the bye week and may get some update on some injuries at some key positions. Michael Clemens and Clifford Chapman are two that come to mind, and maybe even a timeline on Jamon Osborne. Liucci, 26-23. We ended last segment kind of breaking down Kellen's performance, which I thought he was really, really good again. 25 of 37 for 353 and a touchdown, no interceptions. Kind of thankful to Cameron Buckley on that. It made a really
whatever. Big play.
It was an enormous play in the game when you think about what it led to. But here's my deal. And can we go ahead and say that throughout his career and now it's becoming part of what Kellen Mond is that he gets better as the game goes on, and he is really good in the fourth quarter. Can we say that now, or has he played enough games for that to be his kind of mantra and MO?
I think it's fair to say that because he was doing it last year when he didn't even know really what he was doing. Mm-hmm. He's done it in 2 different offensive systems. He's done it being asked to do 2 completely different things. And he's done it against quality opponents. He's done it on the road. He's done it at South Carolina now. He's done it at the Swamp. He did it at Cowboy Stadium twice.
He did it against Kentucky.
He did it at home. And he did. Now, in fairness, he had that fumble against Kentucky, which was disastrous. But he also threw a fourth quarter touchdown. And I know he just handed the ball off, all but one of those where he kept it in overtime.
But we can't just say that, Billy, because
don't try to turn this into a disagreement. I'm agreeing with you. But don't do. I don't want you to do the whole. But we can't do. I'm with you.
I'm saying
I'm leading
giving
this.
Him credit.
I know. I'm saying, but you're making it like I'm not. I'm leading this brigade, okay? Because I'm tired of reading crap about people wanting this guy to be a top 5 quarterback in freaking college football. You're going to have games where you go, he almost threw an interception to Buckley, or he did throw an interception at this point in the game, or they didn't score in the red zone because he wasn't decisive on an
because of a penalty.
True, because he wasn't decisive on an option or something. He held on to the ball too long, or man, I saw these plays where he could have run it for the first down and he didn't. Oh, he had this open receiver running down. I get all of that, and I see all that, just like they probably do every time they go back and watch tape. But people have to wrap their heads around. No one is trying to call him a top 5 quarterback in college football. I will say, as a sophomore, he's probably a top 4 quarterback in the Southeastern Conference right now out of 14 of them. And I will also say he's had 2 brilliant football games, one of which came against a team still ranked number 3 in the country. So I just want, and I know you're with me, I'm saying this out loud, I want people to realize you can sit there and analyze the performance, and every week you're probably going to be able to say it's not perfect. But to expect that right now, I mean, go ask 80% of the teams in this conference who they'd rather have as their quarterback right now. Most of them would say Kellen Mond because of what he can do. Go ask Mark Stoops or Will Muschamp after they've faced – those guys have faced Terry Wilson, Felipe Franks, Jake Bentley, Nick Fitzgerald. No brainer. They're going to answer that question every time, Kellen Mond. So, to me, like, I don't know what people are expecting. Shea Patterson had a bad game against Notre Dame, worse than anything Kellen Mond has had this year. Jordan Teamu played worse against Alabama than Kellen did.
He's also down 27-10 to Arkansas.
In a minute, yeah. And Locke has had, I mean, Kellen's played better than Drew Locke has this year. And go look at Locke, some of his performances, Bama, South Carolina. Compare against the same teams. And then my other thing is, who do we like? Who do we love? You like Kyler Murray? You're a Kyler Murray guy because you want to be able to say, have something to bemoan A&M about and dwell on because that's what we like to do. All right, you big Kyler Murray guy. How about the 2 disastrous turnovers in a loss to a bad Texas team that's ranked number 7 in the country?
Or going to overtime with Army.
Going to overtime with Army. That I'll put that a little more on that Mark Stoops defense. Mike Stoops, they couldn't get off the field. But you big McSorley guy. You like McSorley a lot. He's in a lot of people's Heisman. He just lost at home where he led his offense to 3 second-half points against a Michigan State team that lost to Arizona State and almost lost to App State or whoever. No, it wasn't even App. Whoever it was.
Penn State almost lost to App State.
Yeah, it was even worse. It was somebody worse than that almost Utah State. So I just think people need to appreciate what they've got here as an emerging young star at the position. And I'm not saying that he can't go into Starkville and struggle and play bad.
It's still less than 15 starts under his belt.
But I think, personally, based on what you're just saying, would it surprise you at all to see him go turn out? This is what I expect. A gritty, gutty performance against the number one scoring defense in the SEC, where we look up at the end of the game and the team's got a chance to win, and maybe Kellen hits a couple throws, has a nice run, whatever, they go down, kick a field goal, win it, or Travion pops a run and win it, and everybody goes, wow, they won it with run defense in the running game. But it's like, hey, you might want to give number 11 some credit there too, because he was guiding the ship.
Where I was going earlier was that we sit there and listen to what Trevor Woods said about the number of checks and tags that are in this offense. So you're really doing Kellen a disservice if you said, well, all he did in that overtime game was hand it off to Travion. Well, how do you know what was called and what he checked to?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then in the option stuff, if Gilly makes a block on the edge, he pitches it and Travion probably walks in. So none of this stuff, I'm sure there's some fault of Kellen. The only quarterback that I can see that I've ever watched play a flawless football game was maybe Aaron Rodgers last night.
And Brady the night before. But you're talking, Drew Brees last week. I mean, in other words, nobody does that.
The highest level, yes.
I mean, Tua, who's going to win the high. You see what I'm saying, though? It's like, he's not at that level, but what is that where we're at, that we're expecting? It's just like with A&M right now. I sense this, like, you understand, it's not real easy just to go. You and I aren't sitting here saying they're going to win out.
No way.
I still don't expect. Now, I'll say this. If they go win in Starkville this weekend, I think it's a complete and total season changer for me. Because I think if they go and win down there, that's going to be really difficult against a really salty defense and an offense that maybe is getting things going. We'll find out against LSU. But if they go win up there, whether it's 13-10 or 33-30 or 35-7, if they go win up there, it will change my whole outlook, because then I'll expect them to go win at Auburn. I'll expect them to outscore Ole Miss here, and I'll say it's coming down to a one-game deal against LSU for a New Year's Six bowl. That's a big if, though. That game in Starkville is going to be. We're going to talk a lot about that next week, right?
Yeah, and there's all the games on the schedule you could definitely win, but you could definitely lose. Even UAB, if you don't turn up, and they're 5-1, and they're playing for a mid-major, they're pretty stinking good.
They got a heck of a good defense over there,
and they got a really good coach who's now, from what I'm just reading around, message board stuff, that he's getting some run about going to Auburn as the next head coach, the guy at UAB, because
he is good. He's doing a hell of a job there, and
that program was on the brink of death penalty stuff.
They beat the dog out of La Tech a couple weeks ago, and that got my attention.
Yep, and so I looked at their stuff last night. That's not going to be just another mid-major, not New Mexico State rolling in here. So
that's your one. You thought ULM might be tricky, and they weren't. That's your one.
Yep.
But anyway, you look. Here's my point. No one's sitting here saying they're going to run the table. Maybe Gabe is. He does that after wins. But no one's saying they're going to run the table. No one's saying that they're going to, that Kellen Mond should be on the first team All-SEC or an All-American or even second team All-SEC right now. But what I'm saying is this. Everybody, there's just this trepidation to kind of jump all in and jump in with both feet. Well, I mean, we're just not winning by enough, and we're playing with fire, which we all agree with. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get excited. Like, it is a process, and I'm not stealing from Nick Saban there. It's not the process. It is a process to get to the point where you are beating Arkansas 31-10 and Kentucky 24-7 and South Carolina, 26-7 this week. Then we're looking at this team totally different. We're going, man, they're just choking team. You don't just skip steps and jump there. So what you're seeing right now is this team that's just fighting through their own mistakes, but they've started playing teams that they can go match talent-wise, which wasn't always the case in September. And now you're seeing that toughness and grit and the manner of which Jimbo coaches games it works when you're on a level playing field.
Yep.
And that's what's letting A&M win out.
On the other side of the break, we'll jump into the defensive side of the ball and look at A&M's performance from Saturday. This is the Beliucci Hour Lunch. We're presented by HomeSpark. HomeSpark, top-class care from top-class people. Formed right here in Bryan College Station, HomeSpark has become the premier home help service agency in the Brazos Valley. Cameron Ramirez and his team understand that bringing a caregiver into your home can be a big decision, and because of that, the HomeSpark model provides personal consultation and assessments in order to build the most comprehensive plan possible for your loved ones. Hiring a caregiver requires a tremendous amount of trust. Bringing in an outsider to help a family member in need isn't easy, and that feeling of not knowing what's going on at all times with those that closest to you can be strenuous. The folks at HomeSpark understand this, and their goal is to bring much-needed peace to all parties involved. You see, taking care of seniors is their passion, and they're committed to providing the best care possible for your loved ones as they age. HomeSpark is proud to give back to those that have done so much for their communities, their families, their state, and their country. We all stand on the shoulders of those who come before us, and HomeSpark promises to honor the contributions of the seniors in the communities they serve, earning your trust by fulfilling that promise and providing independence for your loved ones. For more information, visit their website at homesparkcare.com, where they've got 5-star testimonials from folks who have put their trust in HomeSpark. Or you can call them at 979-260-0320. That's 979-260-0320, and let Cameron and his crew tailor the best care possible for your situation. The most trusted name in senior care assistance in the Brazos Valley, HomeSpark. We care for people.
From News Talk 1620 WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM. 2 longtime Bryan School District educators will have their names on 2 buildings at what the school board decided will be called the Career and Technical Education Complex. The board agreed with a committee's recommendation that the lab building where students will work on CTE projects will be named for Mike Kristenik, who spent 27 years in BISD.
As a teacher, administrator, and assistant superintendent of support services, Kristenik added value to countless numbers of students and teachers. From developing CTE programs such as the Hammond Oliver to ensuring that the staff had adequate resources, Mike was a hands-on person dedicated to meeting the needs of students.
Chief of Staff Ginger Carabine said the committee recommended the naming of the office and classroom building for Becky Seal, who worked 47 years as a teacher and technology specialist after graduating from Bryan schools. The City of Bryan is seeking public input on animal ordinance updates. Bryan Animal Center Supervisor Julianne Burkhalter says they have reorganized the proposed changes into a few different sections.
We have a general section overall. Then there's a section that applies more specifically to dogs and cats. There's another one that specifically addresses dangerous dogs and inhumane treatment. And then also a final section that concerns livestock, fowl, and other agricultural animals.
Burkhalter says the Animal Center Advisory Committee is hosting a meeting on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. in council chambers of the Municipal Office Building. President Donald Trump's campaign office has announced it will host a rally at NRG Arena in Houston to expand Republican majorities in Congress, but does not specifically mention Texas Senator Ted Cruz. The campaign office says the event takes place Monday, October 22nd. I'm Chelsea Reber on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
As the old saying goes, if your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. At Intercon, we have a full toolbox to meet your window needs. Perhaps your home is ready for a full retrofit to vinyl windows. This full replacement option beautifies your home while improving thermal efficiency, noise reduction, and dust penetration. On the other hand, your existing windows may just need some maintenance. The glass in your existing windows may be replaced, in many cases upgraded to more efficient options. The mechanism in your windows can be replaced to allow the window to operate more smoothly. Maybe you just need solar screens on some windows to eliminate hot spots in your home that tax the air conditioning system and make some rooms unlivable. With the breadth and depth of Intercon's knowledge and product offering, we can find the solution that meets your needs and budgetary constraints. Trust your friends at Intercon to understand your needs and use the best tool for the job.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
You can hear Aggie soccer all season long on the Zone 102.7 FM and online at RadioAggieland.com.
Welcome back to the Beliucci Hour Lunch, presented by HomeSpark. HomeSpark, we care for people. I'm Ryan Brauninger, Beliucci with you On the stage here at the Tap on Harvey Road, we hope you're staying warm. We hope you're staying dry. This is the probably wettest fall I can remember since I moved to College Station, and it doesn't look like there's any rest in terms of getting dry over the next week. I told Shell Winkley on Twitter that, I mean, you're the weather guy. Why don't you just turn this thing off? Like, I don't know how else to get the weather back. I like the temperature, but I don't like the rain. It causes issues. It makes me feel like it's January or February.
You feel like we're in like Seattle or something.
You're dressed like you're in Seattle or Vail.
Somewhere.
It's your Vail, Colorado season. Like I'm in baseball season 20, all 365.
Yeah. I would stay in this season 365 if I could, but I don't think I could deal with the actual weather. But I do like dressing warm.
What did you make of the overall defensive performance on Saturday? Were you pleased? Were you upset? I mean, I just felt like those two drives really got away from him. And then on the flea flicker was just it's a 50-50 ball. The kid made a good play on. Aiden was there to defend it.
You had it defended good. You hit Bobby Brown, blasted him as he threw it, which caused it to be slightly underthrown. You had the coverage. And again, now Chuck Oliver did make an interception in the end zone that was big. In hindsight, it was a huge play. Not only to keep them from playing with a lead early on, but just to keep them off the scoreboard. And later on, you needed those points, obviously. But, again, he's in position to make a play and couldn't make a play on the ball, either to break it up or come away with the interception. So they've got to get better in that regard. It's definitely my number one concern with this team still as we enter the bye is coverage, just coverage in the secondary.
Those
overall,
are the two best receivers you're going to play the rest. Well, I mean, DK Metcalf, but DK Metcalf's done for the year. A.J. Brown and DeMarcus Lodge.
I'd still say Lodge and Brown.
Yeah, but I still would lean Samuel and
I wouldn't. I mean, you would. I wouldn't. But whatever. What you're saying is they're two good receivers, right? I mean, but they were lucky this week in regards to South Carolina dropped a half dozen passes, and like at least 4 of them were right in their hands, wide open. So they did help them out. Coverage was bad Saturday. Now, you were without your best cover corner for the whole game, which I thought could have been a killer had A&M's offense not immediately begun completely controlling the clock for the rest of that half. So they weren't able to really get into a rhythm until late, right? But, man, I
know you went off on it yesterday on the radio, on TexAgs Radio. They have got to do something about this targeting stuff.
Yeah.
It's the most asinine rule in all of sports, maybe. It's so bad.
It's terrible. They don't know how to police it. They have no idea how to police it and enforce it. It just doesn't seem like there's any kind of clear plan in terms of the punishment. It's far too punitive. There's no room for like common sense to be injected into it.
Right, that's what my deal is. You can look at a play and discern, was that targeting? Was that intentional? Listen, if you want to throw the flag on Debian and give him 15, whatever. I think that's still bad. But to throw a kid out of an entire football game for that play is asinine, ridiculous, and I don't know whose hind end they're trying to cover in this whole thing. Because there's no way that kind of hit is going to lead to any kind of –
Officials are scared. They're scared of their bosses, and their bosses are scared of their bosses, and they're scared of blowback and, how, quote, dangerous football is. And I know it's a dangerous, violent game, and I'm all for cleaning it up. But
so do those kids
have
that are
some
running out
common
there
sense.
Yes. Anyway,
just
I didn't mean
inject some common sense into it. Yeah, I mean that little knick-knack to the helmet, that little tap to his helmet that it didn't even move his body. That could have altered the course of an SEC game and altered the way an entire fan base, university, national media viewed a team's season.
It's so arbitrary, too, man.
Yeah.
It's like you watch someone like Ja'Shawn Corbin had like a 12-yard run at the end. He's getting tackled, so he's going to the ground, and a guy runs by him and shoulder pads him to the helmet, and there's nothing called because it's in a group, it's in traffic. That one-on-one play happens with Debo Samuel and Debian Renfro, and it's out there for everybody to see, so they feel like they have to police that because everybody saw it. I just don't understand how they go about executing the rule. If it's going to – like it needs to be consistent. Like you said yesterday on the radio, it's feel like it's happened to A&M more over the course of the last 2 seasons than certainly that it's happened for A&M, like in A&M's favor.
No question.
It's crazy, man. And I don't agree. I wouldn't have agreed with it. Like I would have. Okay, you're an A&M fan. You want A&M to win the game. So if Debo Samuel goes out of the game on something like that, you're like, okay, it helps our chances
Numbers
to win.
are numbers, though. I'm sure somebody has it. What's the count? How many guys have been ejected from A&M games this year for the opponent versus the Aggies? How many ejections does A&M have? A half dozen?
Dono's got 3. Devion's got 1. Does Tucker have 1?
No, I don't think so. Who had it? Who had it last year?
Cam Buckley?
No, I'm sorry, not last year. Who had it in the first game along with Alaka?
Oh, yeah,
did.
that's right, Alaka.
So at least 5, and I think it's 6. I believe it's 6.
6 and 7 games. It's losing a starter
every game.
Every
almost.
game.
Yeah.
With not due to injury. It's completely ridiculous. Anyway, to go back, your overall grade for what the defense did on Saturday?
I thought they were fine. Yeah, I mean it wasn't their best performance, but they stopped the run again. They gave up 2 runs in the first quarter, back-to-back plays of 41 yards. They finished giving up 76 the whole game or so. So completely shut that down after those 2 times they got leaky up in the front 7, and then they had 2 bad drives, and really the third one was at the very end, and it was.
Just
penalty.
Quick, yeah.
You had a sack. Your hand got in the face mask. They were sloppy. They had too many penalties on defense. Miles Jones was caught in a few of them. So not having your best cover man really hurt. It really hurt.
Man, Clifford Chapman's kind of becoming an enigma.
Oh, becoming?
Because, like, I don't know. I hope the kid gets healthy for his sake.
I think we'll see him back against Mississippi State. We'll see. I think we'll see him back in that game. We'll see. If not, definitely, I would say definitely Auburn. They need him because they could have really used him. Too.
Not as bad, but I think it would help in the rotation. It would give you another pass rusher.
Yeah, but that's one we don't know what kind of pass rusher he really is. Never done it.
Right.
Chapman's never done it either, but I've heard way more about him buzz-wise in practice to believe it. But I thought the defense was fine. It was solid. They made a play. They made a huge stop in the red zone early. They got the stop they needed late after they tied it up, and A&M went on an 11-play drive. They had a little 5-play, 3-yard drive. They got the sack, got off the field. A&M had the ball 11 more plays, and then a touchdown, game over. Defense was solid. It's in that like a B+. It wasn't as good as it was the week before against Kentucky, but you didn't have your best corner. You were playing a team with 2 really good receivers, and that attacked you down the field. I do think they were fortunate, though, that there were those drops like they were.
I think if you're going back and grading the first half of the season compared to what we thought this team was going into the season, I think the defense has by far outperformed any other area of this football team than what most analysts expected going into the year.
No question.
Mike Elko was a fantastic hire. No matter what happens on this back half, what you've seen him do with the guys he didn't recruit and with questions in the secondary, which is his area, he got safeties.
Which, ironically, I was really bullish on the secondary, not necessarily right on the eve of the season, because some things sprung up in the spring that concerned you, and then in fall camp it started to look a little better. But I was bullish on them, as soon as last season ended. I would have thought they should have a really good secondary next year for these new coaches to work with. So even with that being a disappointment, the defense is still light years better than I ever imagined it would be.
And you were exactly right about the way he game plans and adjusts.
Yeah.
I mean, how many teams this year have you seen? Even Bama. I think Bama had a good scheme, but Bama, I think, out-talented and out-athleted A&M.
Yeah.
But how many times have you seen A&M? Have we seen wide-open guys running around?
No.
No. And we did last year. We certainly did last year in seasons past. So
yeah, most of their big plays. Actually, against Carolina was probably the most wide-open guys I'd seen.
Right.
In this season. So, and again, how much of that had to do with Renfro being out?
Sure.
And it wasn't like it was an all day and deep touchdowns type things. But there was, on that touchdown drive, they missed Shy Smith for an easy Probably would have been a touchdown. He fell down, just wide open, and the receiver just fell.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they ended up scoring on that drive anyway. But my point is, that was the first game, because even against Clemson, all of them were contested against Clemson, every single one of them. But it was other, coverage has been better. There's no question. You just got to get guys to finish.
On the other side of the break, we'll close the show with your question from here at the Tap. You listen to Beliucci Hour Lunch, powered by Homespark.
Beliucci, the insider for all things Aggie football. Join Gabe Bach each Monday and Friday at 10:05. Go straight to the source with Liucci. Mondays and Fridays on TexAgs Radio. No place else. The Zone. The Zone.
Did your yard look healthy last summer? If not, consider adding some compost. This is Bobby Jenkins of ABC Home and Commercial Services. ABC offers a compost program that uses premium soil-enhancing material. It's the organic way to improving the health of your yard. In addition to being more attractive, a healthy yard fends off diseases and retains and uses water more efficiently. For an organic boost, call ABC Home and Commercial Services, specialists for your environment.
For courteous service, just call ABC Home and Commercial Services.
Folks are always looking for a place to meet friends, grab some food, relax, and unwind with a cold beer, mixed drink, or glass of Boots sweet tea. The Tap on Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people coming back for more. Our burgers, salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before, during, or after the game. See you at the Tap on Harvey Road in College Station.
Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos County Courthouse in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
As a child, you remember the day you got your braces off. As a parent, you remember the day the braces went on. Dr. Elms works to make the time in between as productive and enjoyable as possible. Experience tells Dr. Elms the best treatment plan. A great office and staff ensures a great experience, and the convenience of a free shuttle makes the appointments easy and fun. Ask your friends, read our reviews. drelms.com.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
On Sports Talk, Chip recently visited with actor Hal Linden about his iconic TV show, Barney Miller.
They still call me Mr. Miller. How do you do? Good morning. I think anybody who really glommed into that show hasn't left it.
Sports Talk, legendary guests. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150 and The Zone 102.7 FM.
Final segment on a Tuesday, Beliucci Hour Lunch. Ryan Brauninger and Beliucci. Beliucci Hour Lunch powered by Homespark. Want to get to these questions from here at the Tap pretty quick because Lucci's got to make his way to the press conference here in just a little bit. Like I said, when we close the show, we will not be kicking it to Louis. I think we're going to be kicking it straight to Jimbo Fisher's weekly press conference. So a couple of questions real quick, Lucci, from here at the Tap. What are we doing wrong that we have trouble scoring touchdowns in the red zone? And then a funny one, should we move Braden Mann to defense to cause more turnovers? Turnover problem seems like it's just like the sack issue, seems like it's getting better. And they're getting around and getting their hands on more football. It's good to see that this week. But your quick analysis of A&M in the red zone.
Oh, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, it's just – I mean, blocking isn't always what it needs to be. I do think, you pointed out that one play where Gilly looked like he wasn't decisive on taking the right guy, and so I think inexperience factors in. I think Kelling can get more decisive down there. And then you got, as coaches, you got to find out what your personnel can do and what works and what doesn't. And I also think it hurts them they don't have a go-to kind of fade them up type receiver. You saw Courtney catch one against Kentucky, so that could help. They were without Kendrick and Jamon, who to me are the two big body guys that you can lean on. Now you certainly have Jace down there.
I would have loved to have seen Caleb Chapman healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
That could have been your guy.
And he was coming on strong when he got hurt too.
That,
I know a lot of people inside the program thought that week. I forget if it was ULM or it was probably ULM who were telling me that week was going to be a big game for him, and then he got hurt. But it's a combination, I think, and in penalties, like you've said, they've hurt themselves with some penalties. But it's just two things. Just all-around execution on all levels down there. They got to get better at it. But also, Brauning, you line up in the SEC, and it's tough to punch in those final 3 yards or so.
Everybody's
really is.
got dudes
and
on the defensive line.
I'm sure, and I haven't studied the numbers, but I watch it every week, and I watch how hard it is to punch it in from the 3-yard line and in. I think most coaches and most teams would say we'd like to do a better job inside the red zone. Now, A&M's one of them, so you got to go out and fix it, and you can't let it cost you 4 points every other time.
Well, if they're better in the red zone the last three games, if they're better on even in the the plus end of the field inside the 30.
I think it's more inside the 30. Yeah. It's not like they're just failing every time they get inside the 5.
Yeah, real quick, your thoughts on Seth Small's bounce back and how big that was for him.
I thought the 3 most significant things before I run over to Jimbo's presser were Kellen and the passing game beating a team that kind of made you beat them with the pass, a quality team like a real not a non-power 5, beating them, kind of airing it out when they kind of challenge you to do so. Courtney Davis's emergence, because they need that out, and I've been saying it all year. Yeah. And then the third one was what you just asked me about, Seth Small bouncing back, hitting 4 out of 5. He's now 7 of 8 in 2 SEC road games. Really that was huge.
Yep. Lucia's going to run. I'm going to tackle one more recruiting question before we get out of here from here at the tap. Liucci and Brauninger, with some attrition already going public and more expected, what do you see the recruiting number creeping up to, 29 or 30 to 31? Listen, we don't know what that attrition – you can expect attrition and you can think that it's going to happen, but until those scholarships are actually available and open, they don't have those scholarships to give. So we get asked that question quite a bit. Me and Jason Howe, the TexAgs recruiting analyst, what's the final number going to be? I can't sit up here and give you a concrete number. All I know is this recruiting staff is incredibly savvy, and they understand now they fully understand the shortcomings of the roster and where there needs to be the most emphasis. I think when they came in December, it was just a mad scramble to fill whatever you thought you didn't have over the course of the final 3 months or the final 2 months really of the recruiting cycle, and that's why you saw A&M do so much work in January and February, and just keeping up with that staff daily was so hectic. I think now that they've been in the program for a full year, when you go down the stretch of this recruiting cycle, the focus will be much more poignant, and it'll be much more narrow in terms of scope because there's not going to be as many guys. And I also think you're going to see them sign probably 20 – man, I could see them signing 24 guys in the early signing period, which only leaves – maybe 4 or 5 spots left in February. So it'll be really interesting to watch down the stretch. If you got 25 committed, do you keep those same 25 kids, or is there fluctuation? And do guys take visits and look elsewhere? Who emerges at A&M? There's probably 6 or 7 names still out there that we know A&M can't take all of them. And we're going to get into this on Thursday at the Beliucci Hour. We're going to get into some recruiting talk because during the bye week I thought it would be really good to get Liucci's thoughts and just kind of give everybody that isn't a recruitnik or follow recruiting as closely as we do at TexAgs or as closely as Billy and Jason and I do, give you guys kind of a quick update on where A&M is and where we think they're going, obviously in a very good spot. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out. Quick shout-out to front table member Scotty, who is in the hospital recovering from some heart issues. He's 84 years old, and so we wish you all the best, Scotty. and you're in our thoughts and prayers. On the other side of the break, we're going to Jimbo Fisher's press conference. Just in the Beliucci Hour lunch, powered by HomeSpark.
You need help if you've been charged with a crime.